is this is an obsidian dagger blade that I've just made, and I'm quite an interesting moment because on my table behind me I have some considerations, and it's quite an exciting moment really. So let's drop that camera down so you can start seeing what I'm talking about. In my basket here I've got a load of materials. Obviously when I'm making a blade, before we even get started, I could be looking at flint, obsidian, which is volcanic. We've got different cherts. This is a really nice chert that I was sent from America. I haven't dared touch it yet because I want to, you know, I'm just waiting for the right moment. And this one's quite peculiar. Never seen anything quite like that. Anyway, let's have a little look in here because I've got choices. So for example, this is a piece of bog oak, which is a piece of wood, is oak, and it was standing 10,000 years ago. And well, that's been preserved in the peat. Good morning there, Michael from the US. How you doing, man? This stuff, it can be quite unstable, but one, you know, a lot of cracks going on in it, but you can get good bits and bad bits. So there's a consideration. Then we've got wood from our time, which this is a piece of bur elm, I believe. That could be used, which would be quite nice. I have bones from the River Thames. Obviously, the scale of that bone and that knife don't match, right? But what is really nice about this is the textures and the patinas that come together. Can imagine this a little bit has got me, right? Because when you think like that, that's quite a sexy look. So there's an idea, but as of yet I'm not convinced. I have things like mammoth teeth. Well, that is not stable enough. I don't even know whether I'll be able to use that for anything, but I have a chunk of mammoth bone here. This is quite exciting. As part of the problem is to find out what it's going to look like when I have worked it. So, for example, if I just get a little bit of wax and a cloth, what we can do is we can get a little bit of wax. We can rub that on that surface and give that a little wipe down. It's just sort of showing me what things might look like. Obviously you can see the outer bone and what would have been potentially marrow in there, and that's got quite a sexy look about it. So that's a consideration. Nathan, how you doing, mate? And who's that? White Druid music. Nice to see you guys. I haven't got my glasses on, so it's quite hard to read. So there's some thinking. Anyway, putting that away, what we also have is we have another box around here. I could keep things simple. I could just get a deer antler and cut a tine off and cut a section of length out of it and slap that on there. But because there's always buts. The fact that that blade goes up, what I kind of wanted is I wanted something to come down to build the match. Let's have a quick look over in here. This is stuff that accumulate over years, you know. So in here, this one, this is pretty cool, right? When you think about what I'm trying to achieve, in some respects, them two things do look quite good together, but that bothers me. Trying to drop it. the scale here bothers me, so actually that takes that out of the pack. Fundamentally, what's happening is this is exciting, because it's about, so here, I love this bit. It's part of what you really want. Now, I don't ever have considered keeping them two things together, like two of them. But when you look at that, that could potentially go. See that? That could potentially go in there and get clamped. I'm trying my hardest not to drop this. They have come apart now. They're only held together by that little bit of stuff there. So that could be cut off, and that could be injected into there when you're thinking things through. We could get very expensive if we wanted and start thinking about something like this. That's woolly mammoth ivory, which I purchased off somebody that sells it on Instagram. Now, it's hard to see, but if you ever want to know, whether you've actually bought a piece of ivory, then what you have to do is you have to look in the end here, right? Good morning, Mark and Jacob. Because when you look in the end there, what you're looking for is you're looking for a signature. And the signature is described as Schrager lines. Jacob, how can you get a knapping kit? We'll just stop there just for a second. Go online, buy yourself a deer antler, right, and then chop it up. Get yourself some leather from a leather supplier, strap it around your leg, job's a good one. That's the easiest way. Or you can type in flint knapping kits. I don't bother selling them, and I'll tell you why I don't, is because Antler in the UK, the price of it has gone through the roof. You know, it's £26 a kilo over here. When you think of one big antler, it's 3.5 kilos. Do your maths on that, it's about 100 quid for a big red 7-pointed stag antler. It's just not worth it. So you have to do them jobs yourself. But that, yeah, I think I spent about a couple of £100 on that, and the moment will come, who knows when. Going a little bit further into here, there's all sorts of stuff. I've got this, I've used most of it. This was about 1.5 long when I first got it. It's called a backlum, which is a piece of a walrus's cock bone. Unfortunately, we didn't get cock bones, so we have to do the work ourselves, but a walrus does. Let's have a look in the drawer. There's lots of little things going on in here. Things that could be inlaid into the handle if I chose to, like snake wood, stuff like that. And interestingly, you know, it's textures. This is a piece of ivory once again. That's a nice texture. Incidentally, when I obsidian in from America, I don't usually get a big chunk random like this. To make it affordable, what people do is they slice it up. They turn it slabs like that, and you normally have to lick it to see what's in it. There's some nice purples and sort of iridescent greens laying around in there, and you won't release them until you actually start flaking it. And you do that with a little pressure flaker. So back to Nathan for a second. You could do this with wood, and you could buy yourself some, I use 6mm. There's a lot of these daggers and arrowheads that would be made using copper were done during the something called the Chalcolithic period. Revel, where's the best source to buy flint from? Mate, in the UK there's not a source at the moment. It's a huge problem to us, and the reason being is because it's about the investment of putting a hole in the right place. You can buy loads of flint from certain places, but what you'll find is the quality of it is diminished. So That's a really high grade of flint. That's a beautiful piece of stone. I was lucky enough, I went into a quarry the other day. I managed to get 2 wheelbarrowfuls of reasonable stone, and I've been using that on one-to-one courses that I was running last week. But getting back to things, to the reason I decided to go live was part of the excitement of doing this. And if I haven't said hello to you, good morning. Kajumojo, that's not an easy name to say, is it? Good morning to you. So you see this? You see that bit of bone there? When we start looking internally into it, right, I reckon just about that I have the scale here. And good morning, Kerry Mullins. Right, I have the scale here. When you think I'll sort of hide that behind there, to get something pretty sexy going on, which is going to involve me sawing this up and finding out whether it's got any stability. But the reason I'm sort of feeling this one, right, it is an obsidian blade, Robert. Yes, mate. When you look in there at the lovely texture of the way this is cracked up, what I've actually done here, right, is I've sanded it a little bit. Then what I've done is I put some wax on so that I can really see what we're going to be looking at. And what I'm hoping is that this is stable enough. I'm probably going to have to use diamond rotary bits to cut it without it falling apart, and then see if I can get that blade injected into that, right? Slip that blade internally into it and lock that up as 2 pieces. That's before we start thinking about making a sheath and a scabbard, which is probably going to be ended up making, I'll make that of buckskin, which I've distressed in smoke, tanned with brain. Goes on, doesn't it? Anyway, I've used 12 or 13 minutes of your life. I need to get on with that. And I'm not in the business of sitting there with power tools running a video. So I will do another live video. Fortunately, we didn't have signal problems this morning because, I don't know, just a bit better signal going on today. But one thing I will show you before I leave, which I also put a link into the description of, is I've just managed to secure some nice reindeer hides. Really nice, sitting around the fire with, and maybe used as throws at home. And I've got a few of them in. They're going out at a good price. I'm actually able to retail there. Thought I'd get a few in, put them out at a good price, and see what happens there. It also makes me a couple of bob, which is pretty good for me. So yeah, sometime soon I'll show you this again, right? And I'll show you it in its finished form. Why not using wood? It's a moment, isn't it, Nikos? It is a moment I can have some with choice. Also playing with something called creativity. You've got to have creativity going on. So that's what I'm up to. Thanks for dropping in, everybody. Catch you soon. All the best for now.